studio. This is your GhostMan&Demon Hunter Show.
Doesn't that sound exciting to you?
Hey, welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the greatest spectacle in radio, this side of the cosmos, your GhostMan&Demon Hunter Show. Demon Hunter!
Sean, I do believe I heard the words disco bunnies somewhere.
Disco bunny! I figured you'd like that. What a heck of a term for a song, right? Title.
That was very reminiscent of my youth.
It was. Song. Very reminiscent. You had a lot of disco bunnies, did you?
I had a lot of disco in my youth. So
You're disco funny. Anyway, Demon Hunter, tonight's band, you bring up a good point, little brother. Tonight's band, the name is Spittick. Yeah. It's either Spide Kick or Spittick. I'm going to go with Spittick.
We hope that's the name.
Yeah. Spittick. That's the name of the band. Little Smartphone People is the name of the album. Song was Disco Bunny. Thanks, guys, for the music.
Well, I was correct. It was a Disco Bunny in
What's
there.
That hard? Kind of got like a wild rap beat to it. Nice little beat. Like kind of Beastie Boys meet the Fat Boys. Do you remember the Fat... Who remembers the Fat Boys? Raise your hand.
I kind of felt it was more along the lines of a very early...
Fat Boys.
Who is that actor or rapper turned actor? The Fresh Prince...
Oh, yeah, Will Smith.
Will Smith. I felt it was very much a cross between Will Smith and the Teletubbies. That's how I kind of saw it.
Will Smith and the Teletubbies. Well,
Scotty, beat me up.
I don't know if our fans like Will Smith and the Teletubbies. But did you watch the Teletubbies? I never did.
I did not, but I had a roommate a while back who used to sit up in her room and watch the Teletubbies all the time. And I think that her TV must have been very old because I think it must have smoked whenever she turned it on because smoke would be wafting under the door when she'd be watching the Teletubbies. And so I think it was a fire hazard.
They said, Demon Hunter. Now, they said we'll have to cover this story at a later time, but they said, Shadow Nation, Demon Hunter, that Teletubbies were giving children satanic messages. Do you remember that?
I do remember that. I also do remember... which Teletubby it was, that they sold the dolls, the Teletubby dolls. And one of them got pulled off the shelves, the red one originally, because it apparently made a comment that was degrading towards homosexuals, you might say. And
how does the Teletubbies?
Its belly, it made some kind of comment. And of course, because we all knew they were going to get pulled off the shelves, that very day, I went out and bought one.
I've been to your house. I've never seen a Teletubby.
And I do believe that the girl I was dating at the time decided it was hers after I bought it.
Oh, imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that.
Women, gotta love them. Can't live with them because they'll steal your Teletubby.
You will never have a Teletubby that is your very own as long as there is a woman in your life.
See? Women won't let you keep your Teletubbies. But that's okay. What's going on, Shadow Nation? It is Sunday night. It's so good to be back here. What a show we got for you tonight. We're going to announce the guest a little bit later on. We're going to talk about what we did this week. But wow, I'm jazzed, man. I am jazzed. This is right up our alley, Demon Hunter.
You may have noticed, Sean, that I'm a bit more mellow than usual this evening.
You are? What are you on, crack?
No, I'm not on any medication. I chose not to take medication, despite the fact that last night I managed to concuss my skull.
What? Your skull?
My skull. I was working for my day job, and just happened to be a night job last evening, and I was filling a safe, and as I leaned over to stand up, I apparently stood up I'm a bit tall to stand up inside the safe and caught my head on the steel top of it and knocked myself out.
Oh, so you were out.
I was out for a few seconds at least. I do remember grabbing my head and yelling, and the next thing I knew I was on the floor. Yes, my feelings exactly, Charlie Brown.
Did somebody call and say, we need to clean up in aisle 3? We got blood and brain splatter everywhere.
Well, no, they did get me ice, and there was a police officer standing right there, and she recommended I get taken to the hospital. But I figured I've done all the damage to my brain that I can possibly do over the years, so I declined the trip to the hospital.
Declined the trip to the hospital. Now, do you think that was smart? Do you?
Do I think what?
That was smart that you declined yourself to the hospital?
Do I think what?
Yeah. That was funny, man.
I try. But no, ever since then, I kind of think that I've developed a dual personality from the concussion on my head. Because 1 minute I'm talking totally fine, and then the next moment it's like somebody totally different takes over, and you will go to hell, I will eat your soul.
Next minute you're humping the urinal. The next minute you're making love to the urinal, Demon Hunter. You know? I hit my head and I woke up. I was in the bathroom with my pants around my ankles. That's terrible. I'm not making light of it. I'm sorry that happened.
There's not, but when you wake up from something like that, you sit. I came home last night and I'm sitting there going, I really can't fall asleep because I don't know, now that I haven't gone to the hospital, I don't know if I am going to wake up if I go to bed.
You can have a concussion, man.
It was...
it's no joke.
It was something. It was something. And now... But the only real downside... today, my head still hurts. It's a little tender. But what really hurts is my back, because I must have hit the ground like a rock.
Or your pride. Was the officer lady cute? Did she see you go down? Or get hit?
She was cute, but we won't go there. It's
oh, yeah, we can't say that on the air, can we?
I would never discuss going down on an officer.
Yeah. You don't want to go down on an officer.
That's right.
Although in my younger day...
there was a way to get out of a ticket for you when you were younger, huh, Sean?
A female officer. Yeah, well, there was a way. I was always willing to lend a hand. Anyway, that's a good story, though. That's a good... Have you decided an OGI claim? Are you going to report? You should report that stuff, Demon Hunter.
I did report it. But honestly, like I said, I wasn't really too concerned. Like I said, done more damage to my skull in my time. I was more worried about my back. I really was, because this morning I woke up and it was gorgeous today, Sean.
Oh,
Winter is gone. Winter is gone from New England. It was 70 degrees today. I really wanted to take my new motorcycle out, but I was afraid. My new motorcycle is about 100 pounds heavier than my old one.
Right.
Really was worried about taking it around some turns with my back hurting, so didn't get to ride my bike.
You are the pride of the paranormal / horror community, sir. You're an investigator, explorer, adventurer that rides a motorcycle.
Yes, I don't want to buy a pickle. I just want my motorcycle.
I'm going to make a mini-series out of you called Concussion. He rides down to town. He doesn't know his name. Looking for paranormal stuff.
One day he was just an ordinary, average ghost hunter.
Yes.
And then the next, he was Concussman.
Concussman. That's good. And then Concussion, you can play into that.
Yes.
Do you remember the $1 Billion Man? Do you remember that show?
The $6 Million Man?
Was it the $6 million or the $1 billion? I'm thinking of one of the guys.
You're just using the inflation. Well, he would be $1 billion man today. Back then he was a $6 million man.
Yeah, $6 million. Because now you win $6 million on a scratch off and you're broke within 6 years. Right?
Well, it's funny. I actually bought Chrissy P the $6 Million Man first season for her birthday.
Oh, a hot dog.
And I was amazed to watch the pilot episode when I realized that the $6 million for the $6 Million Man was not just the cost to rebuild him. That was the cost of the entire facility for 1 year to keep him up and running.
Yeah.
$6 million to run the entire medical facility, to build a bionic man and run the facility. $6 million today would not buy you the circuits in his arm.
No. It takes a lot of money. Yeah, but I was thinking about that. I think that I seen a guy the other night. I had Stacy K, my wife, had me out all weekend. Like you said, winter, I think, is gone. They said we might get a little bit of flurries this week. But anyway, I was outside this week. We had to build a small deck out back, and we had to re-roof the bump out on the garage because we're trying to get ready to move, Demon Hunter. I've mentioned that before. I'm trying to look for a haunted home, right, for the next G&D studio.
Because that's where you want to bring your children.
That's it. A friendly haunted home, like Casper, Casper. It helped that one chick out. Who was the chick that played in Casper? Remember? The real hot one with the dark hair?
Dude, she was like 4.
Wednesday Addams. Yeah, but she's not now. What's her name? She's real hot. What's her name now? Or what was her name then?
Oh, what's her name now? Because it's different.
Was it Angela? No.
I don't know.
Anyway.
Google that, Sean.
Anyway, I was doing all these chores this weekend, and I had to go to the paint store to get a bucket of paint. So I'm driving down the road, Demon Hunter. I'm driving, and I see this guy. I don't know if he was running from the cops or what, but I seen this dude jump a 6 foot or... No. How big's a privacy fence usually? About 8 foot, right? 7 foot.
A privacy fence? Usually about 6.
Okay,
yeah.
We'll say 6.5. Okay? We'll agree to disagree. This cat cleared that by 2 feet. It must have been 8.5. This guy jumped like a deer, like Forrest Gump when he was running through the field. You know what I'm saying?
That's quite a jump there, Sean.
Yeah. So I was thinking extraterrestrial or crack. Yeah, or crack cocaine, sir. But yeah, he did clear that. I've never seen anything like it in my life. It was amazing. So then I came back home and told Stacy my theory about the alien encounter I just seen, but she wasn't buying it. I think he was wearing an Alf T-shirt. You think aliens wear Alf T-shirts from the 80s?
They might shop at the Goodwill. So who knows?
Did you ever have an Alf T-shirt? I did.
I did not have an Alf T-shirt. I did watch Alf, I think, the first season, but I did not have an Alf T-shirt. I was deprived.
What was Alf's catchphrase? Remember, every show back then used to, give me a break. Oh, yeah. Remember Nell Carter? Then they had the Facts Alive.
I think his catchphrase was, "Are you going to eat that?"
No. There was something else. Yeah, I remember he used to eat cats, right?
Yes, he did. And Lucky was the cat on that show.
Yeah. There's a video circulating on YouTube, and you got to look it up, guys. Shadow Nation. It's called Drunken Binge Alf or whatever, and it shows him on the set, right? He's walking around, he slaps the kid he works with. He's got a cocaine problem, and he's hollering at the at the co-actors because that actor that played the dad on that really freaked me out, man. I was scared to death of him.
He was a weird guy. He was
a weird dude. What's wrong with that guy? I don't get it. Anyway, I had an Alf T-shirt. I can't think of the catchphrase, though.
I don't know.
Do you know the actor who played Alf?
Do not know the actor who played Alf. Do you?
Who was the actor who played the cat? You know.
Luck.
Yeah. Tonight's guest!
Da da da!
I like that. A little bit of delay here. We're going to wait on that delay. I put a nice little sexy blue alien chick up there, though. Looks good. Shadow Nation, tonight we look not just to the sky, but among us. From reports of werewolf-type monsters, glowing balls of light, shapeshifters, UFOs. Since the days of the Native Americans, they've said that land is cursed. We'll find out tonight with the man who slept in the shadows of Skinwalker Ranch, lecturer, adventurer, author of the Skinwalker and Beyond, Ryan Burns, Shadow Nation. Yes, tonight's guest. Now, I'm excited about this, Demon Hunter. Skinwalker is a big hot topic with us, and we've had Ryan on, I think, 6 years ago on the show. And when he came on last time, he was kind of hesitant to come on. Remember that?
Yeah, he didn't want to. Well, he was in the shadow of a billionaire who could shut him down if the information of what he was talking about or he was researching got out.
That's true. That's true. And we're going to cover some amazing stuff tonight. We're going to see some amazing video Ryan has sent. And he also says he has some top secret, never before heard information about the Skinwalker Ranch that's going to be exclusively for the Shadow Nation on this show tonight, Demon Hunter.
Now, Sean, this video, is there audio involved as well for those listening?
No audio for the ones that are listening, but I will explain it why it goes over. That's why we have a video-audio show, guys. Sometimes there's going to be video, so it's just like anywhere else. Radio shows, sometimes, they'll show videos or whatever. But tonight's guest, author of Skinwalker and Beyond, Ryan Burns.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy, man. I know for the last, 12 years, I've watched everything I could on the Skinwalker Ranch. Used to be Sherman Ranch, but we'll get into that a little bit later. That place is insane, Demon Hunter. It's like a portal to hell. The Native Americans have talked about it since the beginning of whatever the Native Americans, when they got out there. They've always said the land's cursed. They've kept their children away from it. They won't even go there. It's kind of like a pet cemetery. The ground is cursed. The soil is evil or soured or whatever. They won't even build. It's 480 acres of land that's just been abandoned.
The land has gone sour.
Okay, what was the dude? Here's some movie trivia. What was the guy's name, the ghost guy, in Pet Sematary, the first one?
Do you know?
Yeah.
Is this another question I'm going to answer, and then you're going to say, I don't know?
Wasn't it Pascal? Ha. Pascal. I'll take a cookie, please. Hey, Demon Hunter, I wanted to remind everybody, we are doing a contest tonight, guys. Susan G. Komen 3-day race for the cure. Demon Hunter and myself have been a supporter for 6 months now?
Yes, we have.
We're cancer fighters and proud to say it. We're trying to raise money for Elizabeth Knoll and Sandy Merritt, two of good friends of the show, good friends of mine. And we're raising money, guys. Very heartfelt story why she's doing this race, and it's a very good cause. Tonight, we are auctioning off one of Ryan Burns' signed copies of this very controversial book, Skinwalker and Beyond. We're going to auction it off. And how you guys need to do this to win, go to our site, www.GhostMan&Demon.com, scroll down, click on the Susan G. Komen 3-day, and then right there on the left it says donate. You click donate, and in the comments put, I'm with the Shadow Nation, put your last name, first name, whatever, and put the amount that you're going to donate. Don't put the amount you did. Just put, I'm donating, and they'll be able to tell us what you donated. Okay? So you need to do that, and then email us and let us know what you donated at, what's our email address, Stephen Hunter?
Contact at GhostMan&Demon.com. That's A-N-D, demon.com. GhostMan&Demon.com.
There you go, guys. Susan G. Komen 3-day. You get the book. We'll get it to you within the next 2 weeks. Make sure you go tonight on our site, GhostMan&Demon.com. Scroll down to the Susan G. Komen 3-day. Click on it. Donate whatever you got. $5, $20, $30, $1 billion. If you're listening, Mr. Bigelow. We'll get in that later on tonight. But,
right, Mr. Bigelow, if you donate $1 billion to the cancer cure, we will spend 6 whole months where we won't talk about you on the show.
Yeah, we'll give you this whole controversial book that Ryan wrote about your rant, sir. The cover-up. No, but Susan G. Komen, guys, go to our site, click on donate. Click on the link for that. Click on donate. It's a very real, very serious threat. We need to fight it. Plus, you get a signed autographed copy of Ryan Burns' new controversial book, Skinwalker and Beyond. Make sure to do that tonight, guys. Make sure you put in comments that you're with the Shadow Nation. That way we know it's you. Okay? There you go.
And Mr. Bigelow, if you want somebody to speak for your side of the story, we'll be more than happy to do so for a small fee.
Yeah, that's it. Hey, did I explain that? Was it confusing, Demon Hunter, the way I explained that?
I think that was perfectly fine. If you go onto our website, click on the link to go to, and now I've lost my own track.
The Susan G. Komen 3-day.
If you go to our website and click on the link for the Susan B. Komen 3-day, donate, tell them what you donated on there, send us an email letting us know, to contact at ghostanddemon.com. you will be entered to win the... what are they winning, Sean?
The Skinwalker and Beyond book, the controversial new book by Ryan Burns, guys. An autographed
controversial, Sean?
Huh?
What makes it controversial?
Well, it's controversial because this ranch is very top secret, and they don't want people out there. And only probably 5 people in America have came out and spoke on behalf of what they found here at Skinwalker. And Ryan is one of the second people to put it in the book.
Is one of the second or the second?
No, he is the second. There's one book out before by George Knepp and another guy, an investigative journalist who actually lived out there for a while, or he stayed and investigated for a while. I don't know if he owned the ranch.
Last time we had Ryan on the show, wasn't he like spending the night in a tent just outside the Skinwalker?
He was talking to us on his cell phone from the location. If you remember, different times he was actually whispering. And if you remember right, one of the good listeners to the show told me last night that he remembers when he came on last time and the Shadow Nation, a lot of people out there, heard voices over his phone while he was talking. Mike Kelly, good listener of the show, good friend of the show, said he reminded me of that. Said that they heard the whispers or whatever in the background.
Nitro Jill wanted you to know, Sean, she donated today.
Thank you, Nitro. She always loves. She gets it. See, Nitro gets everything off this show, buddy. She's the early bird. She gets in there. Guys, you got till this Friday. Demon Hunter and I will be making the call this Friday. We'll be checking the email, seeing who donated the most, and that we will get that book out to you by next week at the latest. Demon Hunter.
Sounds good to me.
Demon Hunter.
Ghostman.
Shadow Nation. Hold on to your hats. In the news.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh. It's always fresh. See the delay? It's always exciting. It's a little bit crazy and nutty and fun. And it's straight from the GD Show vaults, and it starts right now.
That's right, folks. It's time for Ghostman and Demon Hunters. Weird news in the news. That's when Sean and I pick stories right off the internet. By their titles, because we find them interesting. We don't read the stories beforehand, so we really don't know what's going on, so we tend to make a lot of mistakes, and every time we do make a mistake, we all take a drink. So we ask that if you're driving, listening to this show on your podcast, don't play the G&D drinking game.
Don't do it!
And if you're planning to drive this evening, please listen responsibly.
Tonight's news, first story, man jailed for 6 months over loud sex, Demon Hunter. How'd you know I'd love this story?
I had a really good comeback for that, but the way you read the title, I lost it.
What a man jailed for 6 months over loud sex.
When are you getting out, Sean?
See, I gave you a second shot. You got to give me a second shot now later tonight when I got you.
All right.
Guys, this comes out of the Newser. That's right, the Newser. There's a noisy romp between the sheets, and then there's sex so loud it's considered stalking. Stalking your neighbors, that is. That was the charge of 46-year-old Italian man apparently faced in court after a dozen of his neighbors filed a civil suit complaining of his loud lovemaking. Man, this is something to be lovemaking session. This is something I'd be proud of. I'd put this on my wall. They took issue with the screams and moans. Hold on, Demon Hunter.
You really got to worry about him going to prison, though, Sean, because what's his cellmate gonna say? Show me what you're in prison for.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Ready? They took issue, Demon Hunter. Okay, they took issue with screams and moans that disturbed the peace in the condominium and the building's decorum. You get it? The local. Did you get that?
I got that.
The local reports. Some translations of the local report on the case, like this one from the New York Daily News, indicate it was actually his girlfriend's screams. Huh? Yeah. Girlfriend scream. That those in the building found so offensive, Demon Hunter. The 42-year-old reportedly tried to convince the judge that stalking and noise weren't the same thing, and apparently claimed that he can't help that he's too good at sex. Did you get that? That's something I would say. The 42-year-old reportedly tried to convince the judge that stalking and noise weren't the same thing, and apparently claimed that he can't help that he's too good at sex. Me either, buddy. I'm with you. But for all his noisy protestations, he ended up with a 6-month jail sentence, which he plans to appeal. Believe it or not, this isn't the first time noisy sex has resulted in a conviction, Demon Hunter. Nor is it the only unusual sex-related case to be heard in Italian courts recently.
So it's a big Italian thing then.
It's Italiano. Hey, the things they never told you on The Sopranos. You know what I mean? They never told me that. They never did.
See, normally I just get applause. I don't get jail sentences.
Loud sex. Well, what kind of sex is there? I mean, if you're not loud, are you supposed to do it quiet? All the time? I don't know.
Well, Sean, from the noisy to the dead quiet.
Oh.
The story that I missed last week that you were asking about. Worker mistakes woman's corpse for April Fool's prank.
Oh, I heard about this.
Yes, I was looking all over for it last week because somebody had mentioned it, and I found it and then forgot to read it on the news. This comes from the Huffington Post, Sean.
Okay.
A desk clerk at an apartment complex in St. Petersburg, have a drink, folks, Florida, was fired after tossing a dead body into a dumpster because he thought it was an April Fool's prank. Ronald Benjamin, 61, first saw the body when he took a smoke break.
Benjamin, drink up.
Around 4:30 a.m. Tuesday morning, but thought it was fake.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I swear to God, the face looked like a rubber mask.
Ooh.
He told the TampaBay.com. If I thought for one instant it had been a real person, I would have called the police, my manager, and anyone I could think of. The body that Benjamin thought was a mannequin belonged to a 96-year-old woman, have a drink, who lived in the complex.
Oh my goodness. Sometime
in the middle of the night, the undefined woman...
Yeah. Undefined. Drink up, guys.
Have a drink, folks. Unidentified woman committed
beer.
Suicide by jumping off her 16th floor balcony.
Holy crap!
Another employee showed up at 6:30 a.m. and noticed the woman's body, but Benjamin said the body was a bad joke. Benjamin then enlisted 2 people delivering newspapers to help him put the woman's body into a dumpster. It wasn't until 8 a.m. that the apartment maintenance worker, Johnny Williams, 42, found the body in the dumpster, according to WTSP-TV.
Okay.
Police were called to the scene. Investigators found a suicide note.
Suicide note? Go ahead and drink up, guys.
And that was just poor pronunciation.
Yes, I know. Drink up on
and a stool she had used to climb over the balcony wall.
Right.
The woman's name will not be released until her family can be notified of her death. Neighbors said she was from England and sometimes talked about World War II.
Okay.
She lived in the apartment complex for at least 20 years, says TVO.com.
TiVo.com.
Charges will not be filed against Benjamin because detectives believe he sincerely thought the body was a mannequin. Rigor mortis had set in by the time he moved it to the dumpster. However, he was fired from his job of 9 years, according to ABA Journal.
How's it his responsibility?
The woman who died, I feel bad for a woman who committed suicide, but I really feel bad for Ronald Benjamin.
Yeah.
You're 61 years old, retired, like living in Florida, probably retired.
Smoking a cigarette.
This job probably plays his extra to his Medicare or whatever he needs.
Right.
And who's going to hire you now?
Right. Well, you don't see many rubber masks falling out of the 16th story. I don't know. Was it the 16th or the 6th?
It was the 16th. I'm sorry. It was the 16th story.
How is there even a facelift? 16 stories?
He landed on the grass.
I guess. Landed on a mattress and sprung up. And how old was the chick? 90-something?
96 years old.
I think she tripped. I don't think it was a suicide. How are you going to live?
A suicide note in the stool she climbed up on.
Somebody wrote it. It's a staged murder. That's some Perry Mason stuff.
Oh.
Da, 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 da. That's right, Charlie Brown. Next.
Her handwriting slants to the right. Well, she was left-handed. Dun dun dun.
Say, da, da, da. Man burns down apartment, Demon Hunter, trying to kill bugs with fire. You ready for this?
I'm always ready.
Comes out of our good friends, doesn't come out of them. Comes out of their weird news at the Huffington Post. Hope it doesn't come out of them. But anyway, the guy burns down his apartment trying to fight bugs. We've heard of fire ants, but this is ridiculous. An Orlando man had to be rescued from his apartment Sunday after starting a fire while trying to burn the bugs in his home and computer. He had bugs in his computer, according to a police report obtained by the Orlando Sentinel. The witnesses called 911 after they saw flames coming out of the second-story apartment and heard the resident shouting for help, according to WFTV. Don't drink, guys. Drink if you want. 4 neighbors kicked in the door and pulled the 26-year-old from the blaze around 11:30 p.m. before authorities arrived. The man was later treated for smoke inhalation. Police don't expect to file criminal charges, but a responding officer called for the man to be hospitalized because he's a danger to himself and others. Oh, flames are just not a good method of extermination, people. Last year, a Texas woman burned down her house trying to kill a snake with fire. Don't use fire, guys. You use a flamethrower? God forbid. Hope he didn't see a rat or something like that.
Bic?
Huh?
A can of hairspray and a Bic?
He must. How are you going to kill the, he set his computer on fire?
Dude, I lived in a apartment once and we wound up getting cockroaches years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember they loved the computer and the microwave and anything that was always turned on because it gave off heat.
Well, yeah.
But I'm at a loss for words, which is really bad when you're a radio host.
Yeah. Don't lose your words.
What are you thinking?
He's a strange cat. Strange cat. You got the next story? You want me to move along?
I have a story, Sean.
All right, I got one too.
All right, here we go from the Associated Press.
Yeah.
Man with first name God sues credit rating agency.
God, is that you?
Oh,
it's Irene. New York City man claims that a credit reporting agency falsely reported that he had no financial history because his first name is God. According to the New York Post, God, Brooklyn, says in his lawsuit that, oh no, here comes a drink, folks. Equifax has refused to correct its system to recognize his name as legitimate.
Okay.
He says an Equifax customer service representative even suggested that he change his name to resolve the issue.
How you gonna change a name like God? That's a $5 handle, man. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't Jesus, like Jesus, it was God.
It was God Gazarov.
Was it G-A-W-D or G-O-D?
G-O-D.
Wow.
Gazarov. Gazarov is a Russian native who is named after his grandfather. So he's God, the grandson of God.
God, is that you? It's terrible.
The 26-year-old owns a Brighton Beach jewelry store and is a graduate of Brooklyn College.
Oh,
Says he has high scores with 2 major credits, with high scores with 2 major credit agencies.
let me guess. Religious? Oh, I thought you meant credited course. Okay.
The Post says Equifax did not return their calls when seeking a comment.
Okay.
So, God has no credit rating.
That's it.
I think his credit would go all the way back to the beginning of time, but no, none at all.
It's kind of like the book police, you know, when you took a book out for the library and you never returned it. They have those now. Maybe God took a book out of the library and that ruined his credit. It can ruin your credit, Demon Hunter, is what I'm trying to say.
Can it ruin your credit, Sean?
Yeah, take your books back. Very serious crime, people. Here's our next story, UFO or pickup truck, I ask you. Actually, I don't ask you, but the Huffington Post strange news, weird news does, Demon Hunter. You ready for this? What were the strange lights that appeared on camera the night of February 16th at the home of Mississippi residents Rainer and Edith Shadows? Drink up, guys. Edith Shadows. That's what it was. The Shadows enjoy looking at wildlife on their 150-acre property in Jackson County's Compass Bluff. Don't drink, guys. That's it. For that purpose, they installed trail cameras to record and play back any nocturnal animal activity. But on the night in particular, on this night, their cameras caught something they'd never seen before. Huh? We have unusual things around here that happen, but it's usually associated with our grandchildren. But this case, we didn't know what it was. Edith Shadows told WLOX News. WLOX described the scenario as it unfolded on their deer cam. You got a deer cam out back?
I don't. I was actually in the store the other day and saw a deer cam, and I was thinking I need one of those.
We should get one. Not for deer, though. For Bigfoot. For the big feets. The time of the picture is clear, Demon Hunter. At 7:24, deer appears, and all is normal. At 7:29, a dim light appears. At 7:35, it gets brighter. Then at 7:53, a weird shape appears on the camera. The deer are lit up brightly, but how? The cameras are infrared and don't emit light. At 7:56, another sharper light appears, then it gets much closer, seemingly focused on the deer. It looks like headlights, but well off the ground, and there's no road. It then flies away. Well, it's not a pickup truck if it flew away. Huh?
Well, what I want to know, if it's single-shot camera, it takes a shot every few seconds. How do they know if it flew away?
I don't know.
Video.
I think it just flew away. Well, if it's every few seconds, you'd see the truck pull out, right, or something.
Well, honestly, what it looked like to me were those lights that some people put on top of their trucks.
Spotters, yeah.
Yeah, and but like you said, there's no road, but maybe it was an ATV or something like that.
The trail camera captured the image of a bright, glowing eye on one of the visiting deer. The more we looked at it, the more we realized that it was something that was in the air. It was something that I had never seen before, Rainer Shadows told WLOX. Well, if it's alien, I'm not sure about that, but it's definitely a UFO. Wait a minute. If it's alien, I'm not sure about that, but it's definitely a UFO? That sounds like something you'd be quoted as saying.
Unidentified flying object is not the same as an alien.
It is!
No.
I believe so. It's unidentified.
Maybe Amazon was delivering a package with one of their new drones.
Well, maybe, possibly. Now, whether it's a government drone or what, I wish, if nothing else, one of them would step up and say, yes, that's ours. So if it wasn't aliens out enjoying their own love of local Mississippi fauna that night, what did the Shadows Deer Cam record? Open Minds TV ask you, Shadow Nation. Huh? And then somebody said...
Nitro Jill says it is a video, Sean. However, I looked at it and it looked like a video of individual shots. But who knows? I might be mistaken. I usually am.
Then a lot of people are saying, sorry, but the UFO's just... They're saying it's all pickup truck, Demon Hunter, with spotlights on the roll bar. You read ahead, didn't you?
Oh, I saw the video.
Well, yeah, I seen it too. But it's Photo Geek and all these people are saying, it's a pickup truck. But if it flew away... Did you see it fly away on the video?
I did not.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
I saw lights there one moment, lights gone the next.
We'll see. Demon Hunter, do you have any more? Is that in the news?
I would like to tell you, Sean, about a World War II artillery shell found in the luggage at O'Hare Airport.
Okay.
AP News tells us that a baggage scanner at Chicago's O'Hare International Airport has discovered two World War I, not World War II. You can drink, folks. Mm-hmm. Artillery shells checked in the luggage that arrived in a flight from London.
Oh.
The Transportation Security Administrator says that the bags belong to a 16-year-old and 17-year-old who were returning from a school field trip into Europe.
Wow.
TSA spokesman Jim McKinney says a bomb disposal crew determined that the shells were inert and no one was ever in danger. No one was ever in danger. Drink up about twice for that one. The teens told law enforcement they obtained the shells at a French World War I artillery range.
Okay.
It was not clear how. TSA explosive experts believe they are 2 French 75mm shells.
Oh.
They were seized Monday evening when the teens were transferring to a flight to Seattle. The teens were questioned and allowed to travel onward. They were not charged. So,
well, that's good.
Sean, you ever get any of these pass through your luggage when you're flying around?
No, I haven't. Haven't been caught yet.
Oh!
I'm kidding. I don't transport usually historic relics from World War II.
Well, you know, what my first thought was, people are always complaining about these kids with weapons these days. You know?
See? These darn kids.
I know.
See? Especially when I bet that'll fetch some money. How much do you think that'll go for, though?
I'm sure some collectors would be interested in them, but they're shells, right? And shells like that probably are on the market all the time.
You think so?
Yeah, you could back in the day you could probably get them at gun shows, you know?
Yeah, I mean you might be able to. I'm not sure how that works. I'm sure they'd fetch a pretty penny though.
Oh, I'm sure you could get some for them. I bet the kids were just probably saw them lying around. Nobody was watching. They made it. They wound up in their bags,
right.
Accidentally, of course, and they just flew their way back.
Demon Hunter,
Ghost Man.
I believe that's in the news.
Bum bum bum.
Tonight's G&D original. That means Nathan and myself came up with it, guys. We created this special, exclusive stuff just for you stuff. You like that? That's my editorial lingo. Guys, Legend X series. It's a G&D exclusive, like I said before, where each week or each month, Nathan and myself scour the cosmos, or at least the United States, and we try to bring you the latest and greatest in legends. From the Frogman, to the Bigfoot, to the Mothman, to the Lady in the White that wanders the haunted back roads of America looking for a ride. Tonight's Legend X is...
The Charman.
The Charman. Ooh, that was good. Got chills, Stephen.
Hey, Sean, I found this week's legend on listverse.com.
Yeah.
A well-known urban legend in California comes from the OG Valley in Camp Comfort County Park.
You see, it's OG, like Original Gangster, or Oja?
Oja, OG.
Welcome to Oja.
I don't know.
I don't know.
They say the spirit of a burned man in a fire will emerge from the forest and attack cars and hikers.
Oh my God.
He's called the Charman because the majority of his face and body could be described as extra crispy.
Finger licking good.
Well, apparently, Sean, several versions of the Charman origins have popped up over the years, but they all begin with a wildfire that occurred in 1948.
Okay.
Earth?
I thought there was more to the story.
Well, I thought we were going to discuss it.
Yeah, we are. We're going to discuss this, but I didn't know the original story, so it was a wildfire.
Oh, so we're going to discuss the story you haven't read yet. Okay.
Right.
The main story goes that a father and son were caught in the blaze, and the older man was killed, but the son survived.
Oh.
And when a rescue team arrived, they found that he had strung up his father and pulled off his skin.
What?
He then disappeared into the woods. Another story makes the victim a husband and wife claiming that the man went mad and laid traps and was injured during the fire, unable to aid his wife, who was screaming for his help. Either way, it is said that if you drive onto a bridge located in the park and get out of your car, Charman will come, horribly burned. He will run up to you and attack, trying to tear off your skin, perhaps to take it for his own.
Oh my goodness. Now see, we'll have to try this, Demon Hunter, but the thing about this one is, they talk about the Charman coming up to you and tearing off your skin and everything. Now, most likely this happens at night, correct?
I would assume so.
Okay, so this happens at night, and it's in a park. Once again, much like Gettysburg and many places that we've went to investigate,
they don't let you in at night.
Park closes at night. Perhaps this one stays open, but I doubt it, to protect our viewers and listeners around the world from the Charman. What do you think?
Either that or to protect, we could say that we're telling you not to try it just to protect you from the park getting arrested.
Park rangers. Anyway, I know that stories like this, Demon Hunter. I'm showing a picture of the Welcome to OJ or whatever, and I'm showing a picture of the bridge, the Charred Man, and I got to tell you, a lot of places, Demon Hunter, have stories similar to this. Don't you think? Huh? Not the actual Charman.
Well, they always seem to occur over water. Once again, that magical water element involved in the ghost story, Sean.
Native Americans said that the water possesses power and that spirits are stuck there or they can't cross or something like that. Wouldn't they saying that? That's why most castles they had water around them, not only for protection from the living, but from the dead.
Well, and this is another one of those stories, Sean, where human spirit dying in agony seems to have the ability to come back and cause harm to people, where, usually we deal with a human spirit issue. They don't have that kind of power.
Right.
I imagine if you actually stood your ground with the Charman, would he just pass right through you? But then you might smell like bacon afterwards.
Ah! Burnt bacon. No, we should go out here. I tell you, an angle of approach we should do on this case. When we go out here, it's going to be a long haul too, California. So we go out here. We've been there before, at least California. And we set up there in the park. We'd have to get permission first, get a permit. And put one of those deer cams on the bridge.
Oh, there we go. But would this guy come out just for the deer cam, or does a person have to be standing out there?
Well, we could have you stand on the bridge.
Oh, sure, me. Yeah. Come on, you have more skin than me. He'd be more likely to come after you.
We could actually play like a game, on the hopscotch or something all night long in the moonlight and wait for the Charman. So, is it nightly or is it every car that goes out there or what?
Apparently, Sean, quick thing here. It seems to be oh hey.
Oh, got it. Oh hey. Who's the smarty pants that got that one?
I tell you, that's what looking things up on the internet will do for you.
See, they pronounce it for you. Wikipedia. That's what it does. Oh hey. All right. We never got that, but that's awesome. The Charred Man and his son. The part I don't get, I see the terrible accident and everything, but his son skinned his dad.
That's one of the stories.
Yeah.
It's Nitro Jill saying, "No wonder nothing happens here in Vegas." But it's one of those stories where there's definitely an insane kind of aspect here. One side is that the dad was killed by the son. The other side of it is that the husband was out with his wife when he got caught in the fire, and he watched his wife burn, therefore going crazy from what he saw in the final moments of his life.
Okay.
So, what do we have to do, Sean? What do we have to do to draw this guy out? I mean, neither one of our wives is going to let us hang them out over the bridge to put them in danger to draw this guy out. So
no, but I'm pretty sure they'd let us hang out there waiting for the charge.
Oh, that's why Nitro Jill says this is why nothing happens in Vegas. Apparently, because there's no water, Sean.
See, no water.
No water, no ghosts. There you go.
No what? They got plenty of ghosts out there.
Well, that's true. We've done the ghost tour.
Yeah, we've had Tombstone. Tombstone's Arizona.
Well, but we've had the Vegas ghost tour on the show.
We have had a lot of gangster history, a lot of spook history out there.
But no, I'm thinking this is one, Sean, where the ghost of an extra crispy guy. You know, I'm not really fond of the name the Charman. Let's just call him Bacon, or Kevin for short.
Bacon.
Well, so Kevin, we'll have to draw Kevin out, and I really just don't know how we'll capture this on film. I'm thinking that the camera is not going to be enough. I think you know what we'll have to do. We'll have to get some of those like Go cams.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Them on our bodies, and that way, if one of us gets skinned, we get the whole thing on camera.
Right. Well, you know, I'm not. Let's leave it on the stand, because if something picks you up and rips your skin off, I'm out. Your tank.
But then if he rips the skin off and the Go cam's like attached, you know, you might get to follow him back.
Right. That's true. Back to his burnt hollow or whatever it is. I don't know. We'll have to definitely go out there and check it out.
It's skin.
Legend X, on a scale of 1 to 10 on the legend meter, would you say 1 being the fake, 10, or 1 being story, 10 being actual, you know, live?
I'm going to say that this one is probably about a 4. I don't really believe in the Charman myself, Sean, but the fact that it all leads back to a single fire in 1948 leads me to that there probably something did happen that started this legend.
Well, sure. Most of them do have some kind of truth behind them. But, you know, we've investigated both. We've investigated things that have left us with more questions than answers, and then we've investigated some where we got nothing.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
You know,
and
definitely
then
something.
we left places that probably weren't haunted before we went there, and we left something there when we left.
Yeah, that's true. We did, Demon Hunter. Demon Hunter, the hour is up on us, brother.
I always like the hour.
It is good. All right, let's tell them who tonight's guest is again. Ooh, it cut you out. Cut you out all the way.
There with the thing. I believe our guest tonight, Sean, isn't it someone like Peter Von Staten from the... Oh, no, sorry. That was the Doctor Who episode that was based on the billionaire businessman we're talking about tonight.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, we're going to be bringing him up, of course. You can't talk about Skinwalker Ranch without talking about Bigelow and his billions. But, hey, tonight, guys, author, lecturer, adventurer, author of Skinwalker Ranch and Beyond, Ryan Burns stops by. Tonight, we're going inside Skinwalker, where very few people have been, Demon Hunter. We're going to find out the truth. Werewolves, UFOs, shapeshifters. The Native Americans say it's very real and the land's cursed. We find out with Ryan Burns. I'm excited about it. Bigelow Aerospace, all that stuff out there, Demon Hunter. It's kind of spooky, actually. You know?
I honestly not thrilled about the idea of going toe-to-toe with a billionaire right now.
Well, that's true. What's he going to do, sue us? Hey, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Ryan Burns, author of Skinwalker Beyond. The band tonight is Spittick from their album Little Smartphone People. The song is Who is Bill Carson, guys? Hold on to your hat. We'll be right back.
Stay back.
Yes, hi, it's Bill Mosley, and you're listening to the GhostMan&Demon Hunter Show. And lick my plate, you dog dicks!
That's right. Welcome back, Shadow Nation, to the one, the only Mystifying Oracle of Radio, your, wait for it, GhostMan&Demon Hunter Show. Demon Hunter.
That would be me, Ghost Man.
Oh, you sound good. You sound very handsome on the radio.
My mother used to always say I had the voice for broadcasting and the face for radio.
See? Tonight's band, Demon Hunter, special thanks to Spittick. Little Smartphone People was the name of the album. The title of the song, Who is Bill Carson? Very special thanks to them. Great band.
That was very interesting. I must admit, Sean, during that second half of the show, I don't get to listen to the music as much because, I ran out to get a glass of water to rehydrate after tonight's G&D drinking game, and then came on and called our guest.
There you go. And got him on the line and everything. Well, I tell you what, Demon Hunter, since the days of old, the Native Americans believed this land to be cursed. From aliens to reports of Bigfoot and glowing balls of light that chase people down the haunted back roads of the ranch. Please help us welcome tonight guest author, lecturer, and adventurer of Skinwalker and beyond, Ryan Burns. Ryan, what's going on, buddy?
Hey, how you doing? Gosh, things are great.
Well, that's good. That's what we want to hear, baby. You're on the show. Things are great. It's Sunday night. It's terrific. How you been? It's been about 6 years, man, since we spoke with you last.
Yeah, it seems like forever.
Yeah, it has. And you've been busy, man.
Yeah. It's been. Yeah, I mean, it could definitely be worse,
Absolutely. You're doing good. I heard a rumor that Skinwalker and Beyond, your first book, right?
Uh-huh.
That's out now. You can get those copies on Amazon.com and off Ryan. You can get them at your website, right, Ryan?
You can, absolutely. HeroParanormal.com, or you can also get them on Lulu, or they're on Amazon as well.
Okay, and you're actually in the process of working on another book. Yes?
True.
Skinwalker Ranch, The Legend of Skinwalker, or the Trail of the Skinwalker?
Well, I haven't named it yet. I don't know yet. I'm not sure what it'll be named yet.
All right. Well, I just gave away top secret information, dude.
You did.
I think so. Well, I was talking to you, Ryan, and I'm crazy about you because you've been somewhere that I've always wanted to go. You've actually slept out there. You've been out there. I remember last time you were on the show, you were kind of iffy about even coming on. I had to almost beg you to come on this show, man.
Yeah, I was freaked out. I was.
What was going on before that's changed now that had you so fearful?
I was getting visitors is what, I guess you'd call them kind of the business casual, like new generation MIB type. And I was getting frequent visits at that point. And, that kind of let up. And I guess I'm just older now and just don't give a junk anymore. Just don't give a crap. And I'm a little less scared than...
Have you gotten too comfortable with it, Ryan? Because I hear they wait till you get comfortable and then they pounce.
Bam!
That may be it.
So you said
that could be it.
Ryan, you're talking about Men in Black. You're talking about this is very real stuff. Then they come out to your house. What?
Yeah, they it kind of seemed like whenever something big was going on or I'd document something big, I'd get a visit shortly after. And, it was kind of creepy.
Well,
now to give our listeners like an idea here, we're talking about the Skinwalker Ranch. Can you give them a area, like if they went to this state, this town, this area, that's where you would find this?
Absolutely. It's up in northeastern Utah. It is, it's a ranch just south of I-40, right in the middle of a Indian reservation. Between the closest town would be Fort Duchesne, and it's between Roosevelt and Vernal. And it is steeped in legend. Absolutely, as weird as they get.
Now, I know I'd said 1,000 times before you came on the show when I was doing your tonight's guest intro, since the old days. I mean, the Native Americans, I've watched a billion interviews with local tribesmen that say they will not go to this place. They wouldn't dare set foot. What's going on there? I mean, these people, do they know better, or is it, they're living in the old days? What do you think? Superstition?
I think it's kind of a self-preservation mechanism. They've been around it, and their parents have been around it, and the generations before them have been around it. And originally that's kind of I've befriended quite a few natives, and they're just the coolest people ever. And they're at first that's the thing is why so much mysticism about it. But I really think it's kind of a self-preservation situation, and they they're very good with it. They understand some of the drawbacks and possible scenarios that can happen, and how negatively it can affect certain people. Some individuals that I've known they've just lost their mind. I mean, literally institutionalized. So a really good recent case is some white folks that live pretty close to the ranch, and it got so hairy for them, they literally lit their own home on fire because...
Were they trying to fight bugs, Ryan? Because we've had a lot of that this week.
Yeah, these guys literally lit their own home on fire because they said aliens were in it. And so they just kind of watched it burn to the ground. So, I mean, definitely one of the strangest places on Earth.
Now, did Bigelow go buy that property too? We'll get into that later.
Yeah, I bet.
Hey, what I wanted to say is a lot of our listeners, if they don't know what Skinwalker Ranch is, it started out as a place called Sherman Ranch when it hit the media headlines. Can you take us back then and tell us the backstory on this place and take us up to the present?
Yeah, you bet. It's a beautiful ranch, about 480 acres, really close to Fort Duchesne in Ballard, Utah there. And basically, one of my very close friends, Mr. Ryan Layton, and Chris O'Brien were the two first investigators. And in those early days, this family had recently purchased the property. It sat vacant for quite a while, and all of a sudden they just had all kinds of freaky stuff happen. UFOs, Skinwalker-type sightings, poltergeist activity in the actual household. Long story short, this happened for quite a while. It got some media attention through Coast to Coast, and the rest is history. Once it was in the full-scale media's eye, Mr. Bigelow, which is a real estate tycoon from Las Vegas and entrepreneur, very interested in the paranormal, and he purchased the ranch and began an absolutely kind of a first, a scientific approach of investigating this, and they obtained all kinds of evidence consistent with paranormal activity of different forms.
Right. Now, I had heard the retired Army Colonel, Jonathan Alexander, or was it Jason?
Yep. Yeah, John B. Alexander.
Yeah, John Alexander. Now, I had watched the interviews with this man, and this is a very firm man who doesn't, go crazy and believe in, this is going to happen, this is what happened, I believe in ghosts and everything. But he told some stories. He opened up the interview, and I'm sure you've seen it, with, what's going on at Skinwalker. He said there is a force out there that is a trickster, and it is definitely in control, not us. Have you heard that interview?
Absolutely. And I mean, like you said, this guy is about as nuts and bolts a person as you could ever meet.
Yeah, he came forward, guys, on a televised event and said this, but he didn't claim that he knew about aliens or anything like that. He said if you go into it, then you're opening up a whole other can of words that we have no evidence to lead against or towards the fact that extraterrestrial powers are behind this. But the funny thing, Ryan, you've been out there so much, and the actual owners are listed as NIDS. It might be Robert Bigelow now, but NIDS, which is the National Institute for Discovery Sciences, which was founded in 1995 by Mr. Bigelow. And they even came out publicly, and they study the fringe science and paranormal topics. They said they're not there for UFOs, they're there for anomalous happenings. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they're definitely, they're going the scientific approach. So these anomalous, happenings, as they call them, I mean, they looked into everything from, if there were certain magnetic fields that were emitting forces that were making people see these things, or if this was actually going on. And as near as they could tell in their efforts, it was consistent that this is actually going on.
Now, I found it interesting, and I know you did too because you've been out there so much. Was it Calm Kelleher, the PhD? Uh-huh. He went out there. He's the deputy administrator for the NIDS, the National Institute for Discovery Science. And they spent, it was founded in 1995, so Bigelow actually founded this really just for the ranch, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, a lot of people say, okay, you had the Sherman family. They wanted to get on the radio, just like, they're going to say, this is just another Amityville horror, or all the skeptics are going to come forward. But all of a sudden, you got a guy, Robert Bigelow, that NASA borrows money from. This cat's, and he's coming out here and going, you know what? I'm just going to buy this freaky place. I'm going to put 1,000 armed guards out there with M16s and stuff. And, there's basically, a lookout tower and a barn out there. I mean, what else is there out there on the property, Ryan?
Yeah, from all outside appearances, it's kind of hidden in plain sight. If you could drive right by it and not even know it was there.
Right.
But when you actually start to look in is when you realize, hey, wait a minute, something's up. Recently, they've put in these large cement barricades. Actually, not that recently. It's been a little over a year. And just like they do at the Army bases in Iraq and in the Middle East, the U.S. Army bases, where they stagger these massive concrete barricades in a way that terrorists can't drive right into the base. And they've done the same exact thing in the same exact way to the interest of this ranch. So, if you didn't know any better, you could probably drive right by it. But when you realize where it's at and you get right into it, it starts to really, freak you out how much surveillance is there, how much of a military presence is there. And, I mean, during the day, quiet as a mouse. But if you approach the place at night, you can really get your butt handed to you.
Now, we're looking at the first slideshow, Ryan, and you sent a lot of video that we're going to show tonight. But the first one is the glowing orb on the property that you taped out there at night. Could you break that down for us?
Yeah, you bet. Absolutely crazy. You'll see these, usually amber in color, you'll see these lights start to just kind of form. And they're kind of these little bulbous lights at first, and then they'll just become bigger, and lights will go in and out of them, as well as solid objects. I've actually seen the like a human type figure come out of these, and I'm not the only one. This has been happening for years. And you'll see these kind of just happen. They just manifest, and it is probably one of the more common things you can see out there.
Now, I saw something like that in the last Hobbit movie, but I've never seen it myself. I was telling Ryan just before you came back, Sean, we were talking about the Men in Black and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I realized that today I was up at my lodge, and two people came in and said they wanted to tour the lodge, and we're in the middle of talking about it. They say, oh, yeah, we're up from Utah. And they talked about how they'd spent the day in Danbury, and now they're up at my lodge. What are the chances that two people from Utah just stopped by my lodge on the day that I'm interviewing Ryan? You
got the Ryan Burns curse, buddy. Better get an old gypsy lady. No, but Ryan, how much time would you speculate that you actually spent out there, both staying the night and looking, across the field?
My goodness. I've been asked to calculate that a few times, and it's near the most easy way to calculate that for me, without getting too extreme, is about twice a week for the last 7 years. Wow. So, quite a bit.
Oh, wow. Now, I've seen so many people go out here. There's not been a lot of, little TV shows that went out there, but Jesse Ventura, Conspiracy Theory. Do you remember he went out there? You remember that episode?
Absolutely. I was there for the entire filming, and then In fact, at that point, I didn't want to be on camera. They invited me to be on camera and be part of the show, myself and another investigator that's with my group.
Right.
And we just kind of, we were like everybody else that was on camera. They were from out of state, and they got to go home to their cozy little homes. But, being that we're here, less than 25 minutes away from the actual property, we decided to kind of hang back and not be filmed. But we were there for the whole show.
Right.
It's funny, Ryan, when you think about it. You're saying you live right there. You've been visited by these men in black. I have friends also who I worked with a couple of years ago. I was helping do some research. They were actually investigating an actual Skinwalker case in Nebraska, and the Native Americans in the area had these legends of Skinwalkers. Something had been sighted. And they had apparently seen something while they were out there, and they said it looked human, but at the same time you could tell it wasn't human. But there was this whole idea of it being this Native American culture thing, where if you had angered somebody who could call up the Skinwalkers, once they called up the Skinwalkers, that was it. You were, you could run, but you couldn't hide.
It's a done deal at that point.
Yeah, and do you have any belief in any of this, living so close to an area where you're actually dealing with something that's called the Skinwalker Ranch, after all?
Absolutely do. And it kind of comes back to that Native aspect. At first, I didn't take it seriously, and now I do. I've talked to other people that have actually had Skinwalkers follow them home, and they're people I trust, and it can get pretty hairy. So it's okay to do your thing, but it's better to just take those little precautions.
Now, did the definition these people gave me of a Skinwalker, is that accurate from what you've heard as well?
Very accurate. Very accurate. They're definitely human-like, but there's something about them that they're just not. They're not. They're not the average guy you walk next to on the street and don't notice. In fact, there was a case in Salt Lake where this is just mind-blowing, a Native American looking, I won't say Native American because it wasn't, but a Native American looking gentleman actually jumped on the tracks train, which is the commuter rail, and literally transformed in one of the cars, and everybody flipped out and got off on the next stop. And it's just mind blowing. That's in a metropolitan area. So if you just take that and just come out here where I live, where there's absolutely nothing but sagebrush and horses and cows, and and it's the epicenter, things can get a lot more hairy.
What are the Utes? That's the local tribe out there, correct? Utes?
Correct.
Okay, what are the tribesmen? Because I've seen some interviews, and you've probably spoken to at least a couple, I'm sure. What are they saying today? Is it more like, hey, nothing's going on, or are they still staying true to, hey, man?
They're definitely staying true to their culture. They're different. They're modernized, and they're very easygoing and responsible, people in every sense of the word. And without naming names, I've had actual chiefs. They have different chiefs of different parts of the tribe, and I've had actual. I've kind of gotten a weird reputation around here. I'm kind of the go-to guy, and I've had actual chiefs call me and say, "Hey, this is happening on my property.
Wow.
Can you come out and set up cameras or take care of it?" And but it's all kind of below the radar is the better way to put it. I'm definitely available to any and all, but I try to keep a low profile.
So be careful with that. You're going to wind up with a reputation like I got from working with the voodoo and pagan community.
That's it. Now, when NIDS went out there, and I'm showing some pictures right now of what looks like a half man, half wolf print. Some of the footprints they found out there aren't your traditional Bigfoot type. These are three-toed Bigfoot looking werewolf type things. Now, a Skinwalker, for the people that don't know, they're shapeshifters, correct? Like a werewolf, similar?
Very similar, yeah, very, very similar. It's often misidentified as a Bigfoot. And I always say misidentified because it's more wolf-like. And yeah, you run into these prints. I mean, gosh, just right here on the property I own, even a TV crew came out, the Haunted Highway crew with Jack Osborne. And
Yeah.
They investigated Skinwalker Ranch and this native boundary with some native land behind me, and they were up there on the native land, and exactly what you're saying. I mean, we were following human prints, and next thing you know, they turn into dog prints, and it's kind of hard to explain.
You know, I think it's funny, Ryan, not to interrupt, but I think it's funny. You got 480 acres, and it's surrounded by the Utes, tribes, their reservations, and nobody purchases this land. You know, that's a mystery within itself. And then the Sherman family go out there, and of course they flee in terror. And then Bigelow moves in. And we're going to talk more about Bigelow, definitely, because there's something there. But we're looking at the video you sent me. Very fascinating. And it looks like an airplane on approach at the Skinwalker Ranch. Can you tell us about that?
Yes. Is that the one at night, through the night vision?
Yeah, it's night, and your hands were shaking a little bit because it was freezing cold.
Epic. Absolutely. It was freezing cold. My buddy and I were just about to leave the ranch. We'd sat there for just hours on end and seen nothing at all. And as we were leaving, we just did one quick last, kind of like your last run at the ski resort. We just did one last run. Mm-hmm. And here it comes, this light, slow flying, very low to the ground. And it just went right over Skinwalker Ridge and in the direction of Bottle Hollow Reservoir. And I mean, it was mind-blowing. Yeah. And, I mean, the video really doesn't do it justice just because it was dark, but it was just absolutely mind-blowing. And I was glad that we stayed a little later.
Right, absolutely. And lights don't just disappear from flying objects. You know what I'm saying? If it's an airplane or something, it doesn't turn its lights off till it's on the ground. This thing wasn't even on the ground, and the lights go off.
Yeah.
So what would you speculate that is? Would you say that's a UFO?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you got something hovering there in the 300 to 500 foot range that's that low, starts out from nothing, gets super intensely bright, and it's, and then it just disappears. It's kind of hard to say it's not unidentified. Right.
Now, on the ground, and I'm not sure if this is the actual ranch, you might be at a distance, but I see a lot of lights on the ground. Were those houses around, or is that on the property of the Skinwalker?
Those lights you see down below that is the actual Ute reservation. And so, I mean, this craft is literally floating over the epicenter of the reservation there.
Now, I have a question for you. You might know this better than we would, regarding like territorial law when it comes to like a reservation. The reservation has its own law enforcement. Outside law enforcement doesn't come in. Does that follow through with airspace?
No. But and that's one of the loopholes that I've kind of taken advantage of is I've purchased one of these civilian drones with night vision and recording capability and thermal even, and it's kind of opened a whole new opportunity of checking stuff out without ending up in a federal penitentiary somewhere. And like you mentioned, this the BIA or the Bureau of Indian Affairs, they have the exact same rights and power as federal police. So in fact, many of their vehicles actually say federal police because they are. And they can hold you for 72 hours, no questions asked, for absolutely no reason at all. And impound your vehicle, impound all your gear. So you got to be really careful. I mean, I try to have every permit that's possibly available to an outsider, and it helps. But at the end of the day, you just have to be careful.
Now, Ryan, I tell you, I did my homework, brother, for you before you came on. And, we're showing pictures right now, of course, of Robert Bigelow and BigelowAerospace.com. You can check more out there, of course, at aerospace.com, Bigelow. MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network for reporting and stuff like that. And it shows pictures of his pods that he's trying to create in space. He actually bought the patent off of NASA, and he's now... some people are saying he's trying to privatize space. And
definitely.
Yeah, he's the only one.
I think between him and Branson the SpaceX crew, and a couple of other players, I mean, it's done. It's a done deal.
Well,
NASA's out. They're in.
When you consider the fact that Russia is trying to annex the moon at this point, do you think this has? They're trying to get to it before Bigelow?
I think they're trying to, but the funny thing is they kind of have to go through him. In fact, I believe the majority of their space station technology they are actually purchasing through Bigelow Aerospace. So at the end of the day, he's got his finger in absolutely everything that has to do with space.
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say, guys, with Bigelow. Mr. Bigelow, he steps out. You got John Alexander, of course, the retired Army colonel that comes forth and basically says, hey, there's paranormal stuff happening at this ranch. I mean, he's on record as saying it. And then most people would say, okay, you got a billionaire, he comes out, he loves to buy property, so he buys this 480-acre lot just because he's a real estate guy, right? So he's buying it up. Here's a little bit more on Bigelow, and I know you already know this, Ryan, but for our listeners, he steps in the 90s to the FAA Air Traffic Control Organization, and he somehow buys them, but I'm not going to say that on the air. He gets them to direct all UFO reports to Bigelow Aerospace. Now, that's what you do today. You go to the website, and it directs you to the BigelowAerospace.com. He is doing, and it's called BASS. It's a for-profit organization. It's for advanced space studies. Dr. Kelleher, Mark Easter. Did you say Mark was a friend of yours? Was it?
I wouldn't call him a friend, but I definitely, we know about each other.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not only does Bigelow buy this ranch where all this creepy stuff's happening, okay? So you could say, oh, well, he's just a real estate guy buying up land. So check this. Goes to the FAA and says, I want all UFO reports to come to me from now on. So it goes to Bigelow Aerospace. Then, and I believe it was in 1995, he enters into agreement with MUFON, a nonprofit organization for the public to report UFOs, the Mutual UFO Network. He goes to them, and now Dr. Kelleher, the PhD scientist that basically is in Bigelow's hip pocket, he is the public relations person for the Colorado-based MUFON, man. And they've started, some speculate, they've started the Star Team Impact Project between MUFON and Bigelow. I mean, what do you think, Ryan? What's going on? I mean, what else? It's clear this man's trying to just hone in on all the UFO topics.
Yeah, he's definitely an enigma. He's a dynamic individual that has, like you said, I mean, the MUFON situation, he said, well, I didn't buy MUFON, but he did make $1 million donation prior to getting all of their reports. So
to a nonprofit organization.
Yeah. So regardless of the way that he's doing his thing, he's definitely involved beyond a shadow of a doubt with absolutely everything.
Yeah, I mean, there's no other way around it. Every report in America is going to this man. I mean, why does he care what type of reports are coming in unless he's trying to look out for something? And I know there's some people that have speculated he's building these pods, okay? And this is way out there. He's building these pods as an escape from the planet Earth because he thinks there could possibly be an alien attack. What do you think about that, Ryan?
I think that these pods are very self-sufficient. They would definitely serve a purpose for that. And he's catering to individuals who want to go to space. So, whether it is to escape the planet Earth or just hang out, or he's even gone as far as, wanting to build a casino and have international space gaming. He is a Las Vegas resident, and he's very eccentric and, a pretty cool guy. But at the same time, he's just got a lock on this, like no one ever has, more than any country ever has.
Now, of course, there are rumors because Bigelow Aerospace, he's so deep into the UFO technology that somewhere around the line he got his hands on UFO technology, and that's what he grew his aerospace industry from.
Absolutely. And if you don't believe in coincidence, that's where, in my opinion, the connection comes in. Here we have a real estate tycoon. He buys a ranch in Utah, and years later, he is the number one man to have to do with anything space-related, including extraterrestrial reports. So that's kind of a big jump. And other than buying Skinwalker Ranch, there's nothing that really fills that gap.
Now, of course, I don't know if you're a Doctor Who fan at all, Ryan.
Oh, man.
Oh, you bet.
Sorry, Sean, I got to mention Doctor Who.
Star Wars, baby, Star Wars.
But they during the first season of the comeback of Doctor Who, they did do the parody of Skinwalker Ranch on an episode where Doctor Who winds up in a place called the Vault, which is owned by a billionaire who's in the aerospace industry and real estate industry, who has an alien museum under a ranch in Utah, who, is collecting all this alien information just so that he can rebuild it and sell it. The character's name is Peter Van Staten, and there's literally like a scene where he's walking down a hall and somebody says something he doesn't like, and he's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "Michael." And as they're walking away, he's like, "Tonight I want him to be his brain washed and him to be a homeless man in either Michigan or Montana, someplace that starts with an M." And it's but they based this whole character on Bigelow in a Doctor Who episode. And watching it, you're afraid that, wow, if this is true, we're in trouble.
Absolutely.
But, life imitates art.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very real. I've been told I was going to be shot by, security there. I've been told, and worse. And, that's kind of where the worst comes in, is that's exactly what you don't want, is to be brainwashed and end up who knows where.
Now, Ryan, NIDS, as we mentioned before, National Institute for Discovery Science, was founded in 1995 by Mr. Bigelow. His right-hand scientist, Calm Kelleher, now the deputy admin guy for the Colorado-based MUFON, he spent years out there at the ranch studying this, and Bigelow's pumping him money just to be on this ranch. I got a real hard time believing that there's nothing out there. He's just paying this guy, thousands or millions to walk around the ranch and test soil or whatever. So this cat spends time out there, a long time. It was founded in 95. It says that NIDS is now disbanded. It disbanded in 2004. Now, you've been out there. I've seen photographs and everything of these armed guards. Do you think NIDS is gone or just out of public sight?
Well, it's kind of like, the best way to explain it is, I think when the microscope was on NIDS, because they were the catch-all for all of this information, it was a perfect time to disband and rename. And that's when they disbanded it and renamed it BASS. Right. A new organization, a different goal, and you end up with a question mark at the end of all the questions, because everybody's looking for NIDS for answers and they're no longer available. Mm-hmm. So I think it was a very convenient and smart move on Bigelow's part.
Right. It's went from public eye to cover up, it sounds like, or just, they placed it other places, kind of filed it away.
Definitely.
Now, there's reports of cattle not being only mutilated, but ending up in trees and on telephone poles and stuff like that. Can you tell us about that?
You bet. It's very common to find cattle, and they're usually near fence lines where you can tell these cattle they're leaving marks on the ground where they've been drugged. And not very many things can drag, an 800-pound animal, and that's a small one.
Right.
Or in trees. A rancher recently had one in a tree. And, unfortunately, because I've kind of become that guy that people call, these people will call me, and these ranchers could care less how the cow got in the tree. They just want it gone. So I'm like, yeah, y'all get your cow, and I'll dispose of it. But, it's okay if I, research what happened. And they're absolutely okay with it. So it's a win-win.
Right, absolutely. Now, actually, on the live feed, guys, you're seeing 3 videos and some pictures that Ryan had sent me. Thanks to you, Ryan, for sending these. But you got a night shot of all these lights on the property, like a surveillance of the entire property. And then you got at the top, guys, you can see the UFO or whatever that is up there that Ryan captured. And then at the bottom, we're going over some of the equipment that Ryan has designed to get out there on the ranch. Now let's go video by video. Let's start at the very first one, top right, guys. It looks like a long flying piece of metal. What is that, Ryan?
Unidentified. Definitely unidentified. You know, that it was a really strange, that was middle of the day, gorgeous day, no wind. And, you know, I wish I could take credit for being the first one to see that, but I wasn't.
Right.
Another researcher, Will Hoffman, that I was with, he actually saw that first and kind of got my attention on it. I ran in, grabbed the camera, and that's what I was able to gather before it just kind of floated off into the distance.
Right.
And I have no idea what it is. It was very close. It was that was right over where I live. I mean, it literally flew over my property, and I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what it was.
What ended up happening to it? Did it disappear, or did it just go out of...
It just continued to go in the direction of Skinwalker Ranch, and it just kept going in that direction. And by the time I was able to renegotiate my tripod and get in another spot, you know, where it wouldn't be blocked by trees or whatever, it was way too far to even... I videotaped it, but it was way too far for any good footage.
You know, I think we're losing our number one fan, Jill, to Ryan here, Sean, because she's in the chat room just saying how wonderful these videos are.
They are amazing. They are. We got any questions coming out of the chat room, Demon Hunter, for Ryan?
A lot of people want to know, like, how close can they get to Skinwalker Ranch if they want to, because obviously they can't get on it, but you know,
right.
You can, you know, are there areas you can go to look out over it to where you can see things going on, or is it all private property?
You know, for the most part, it's all private property and or reservation land, which is might as well be private. And you know, there are what we like to call vantage points here that you can actually get a glimpse in there, but you need the technology or the zoom to actually get in there, and a good tripod. And if you do end up coming out to the area, make sure you bring, if you have an SLR, bring at least 1,000 millimeter lens. If you have, just a regular camcorder, make sure that you have about 12 times optical and 3,000 digital zoom and something to stabilize. But, there are vantage points. There are areas where you can actually kind of squeak through and get a clear line of sight into the property, and that's where we get the majority of our stuff.
Now, at the bottom right-hand screen, Shadow Nation, you'll notice that Ryan sent a video, and it's at night, Ryan, and it shows all these lights in the center of Skinwalker Ranch. Why all these lights? I mean, is this like it looks like an alien base in the middle of the field? I mean, were those lights there? Are those huge light posts, or what is this stuff?
Are those the ones that are blinking in a row?
It looks like, I don't know. They're not really blinking. They're just solid white lights everywhere, and you're...
Oh, okay. Those are really interesting. Those are in Pasture 1, which is one of the largest pastures and the closest one to the command center and the old ranch house. And Pasture 1 has a bait pen in it, which is basically just a observatory on stilts, surrounded by razor wire to protect the researcher that's there from whatever it is this paranormal entity is out there.
Right.
And so Pasture 1 is huge and doesn't really have much in it other than that. However, on that particular night, there was this array of lights, and we've seen this in the past. No rhyme or reason for them to be there. We'll go back and the sun will come up and we'll be there bright and early in the morning, and there's nothing there.
Maybe Bigelow.
I don't know. I don't know what they were. I've heard every type of excuse and explanation. Hey, maybe they're having a barbecue. Maybe it was tiki torches. I mean, we've tried to do everything, but at the end of the day,
maybe Bigelow is trying to recreate the Tesla experiments.
It is.
Yeah, it's possible.
I think it's a toga party. Toga. Little animal house for you. No, but we're also looking at the video, guys, in the middle of the screen, and it shows the GoPro Alien Dave little remote control car, man, and then you got like a little hovercraft you made. I mean, can you explain some of this stuff we're looking at here?
Yeah, you bet. The Alien Dave thing was kind of a joke. He's one of my best friends, and he's actually the third researcher to ever be on the ranch. And, he was back there in the times of Leighton and Chris O'Brien, one of the first guys to ever really break the story. I've since become best friends with him. He's involved with this big thing called the Utah Project and the Utah UFO Hunters. He's the founder. And so that was kind of a joke. He said, what happens if you ever get your buggy? If they catch your buggy, they're going to know it's yours. And I said, no, I'm going to put your sticker on there so they think it's you. So that was the joke there. But, yeah, Alien Dave, great guy. That buggy, the cool thing about the buggy is it's got great range. It's fast. You can mount a GoPro to it. And the best part is it fits under the slats of the gates. So you can pretty much go under the fences, or the gates anyway, and gain access where you otherwise couldn't.
Hey, Ryan, there are people loving some of the photos we're showing, but wish they were bigger. Do you have a website where people can check out these photos and stuff?
Yeah, oddly enough, my website has been hacked, but you can still go on it. It's HeroParanormal.com. And I called my server, and for some reason I'm unable to get on the website, but they're trying to fix it. It should be fixed in the next day or so.
Yeah, I can't imagine how a website about a billionaire's private UFO ranch could possibly get hacked.
Oh yeah, this is about the 10th time this has happened. So it happens, I guess. It's a coincidence.
Yes, it's all just coincidence. That's all.
Well, I tell you, Ryan, with that, Nathan had said something before the show, and I was telling him about the little buggy, and I was telling him about the little hover helicopter that you have, all remote control with a video camera hooked up to it. Nathan was saying something like, well, how are you going to fool a billionaire out here that owns this property? How are you going to get past him with these, little remote control car and little remote control helicopter type thing? Do you think it's that he allows this, or are we really getting over on him?
No, and I don't think I'm fooling them. In fact, there's some footage I have that. How can I explain this? Well, okay, the first time I went out there with a professional who's much better than me at building and flying these things. He flew about a $10,000 unit, which at the time was kind of a base model for him. And the minute it crossed over the ranch gate, this thing just dropped out of the sky. And he was blown away. He's like, there's no way. I've got, something like a 4.6 kilometer range on this. It had first person view, more battery, it could just go forever. And the minute it crossed the boundary, this thing dropped out of the sky. So he told me, I was like, well, what do we have to do? And he's like, well, you got to wrap your receiver. And he kind of told me what to do so this wouldn't happen in the future. And he believed that there was some kind of an EMP pulse that took this thing out of the sky. And so I don't think at all that we're flying under the radar by any means. I think they are aware of it. In fact, there's very obvious evidence that they have monitoring systems. And as an example of that, we've had somebody, for example, flying something over the ridge while we have other researchers on another area. And immediately when this thing goes airborne, you'll see security kind of, come out of the command center, jump in their ATV, they start spotlighting the ridge. They're aware. How is unknown, but they know.
Now, in that video, you see it. You say there's a truck there that's usually not parked on this road. You said it looks fishy to you, and then you had mentioned that it might be like a bait truck. Could you explain that? I mean, are they trying to draw people in to shoot them or arrest them or what?
I think absolutely. Their first line of defense is obviously they call the authorities, which there are the Federal Bureau of Indian Affairs. Patrol cars. And for example, if you were to go past that truck, the problem with that truck is that they could easily block you in to where you could not escape.
Right.
And, it looks just like your regular bucket truck, ladder trucks that an electric company or telephone company would use, but there were no markings on the truck. It wasn't even registered. I mean, the thing was just absolutely a joke. And there was somebody in it just sitting there at the entrance of the ranch. So, it begs the question of what are they doing? And I'm not sure what they're doing, but they're doing a good job because they know. I mean, it almost immediately, if you approach, for example, one of the entrances to the ranch at night, there's a very good possibility that these police officers will arrive, or that security will actually spotlight and engage. And what that is they'll try to blind you with a spotlight. They'll ask you to leave, and if you approach further, that's when they engage. And the engagement is what you don't want. That's
right.
That's the bad part. So, I mean, definitely, if anybody does go to the area, just kind of play it safe and think about tomorrow, not just the night. So
there are a lot of trucks driving around that say "Flowers" by Iris Adler.
Hey, Ryan, how close have you been, if you're comfortable saying, how close have you been to getting on the ranch? And have you ever got a chance to speak to someone that's worked there or somebody that is currently working there that would remain, anonymous, but has told you anything?
To try to answer both questions at once. There is a cave on the ranch, and it was believed by security that I was living in the cave on the ranch. I don't know if that answers both questions, but I wasn't.
You cave dweller.
So they actually believed that I was living in the cave on the ranch, and just from some of the footage they had seen. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely have to deny that. But
yes, because the place I would want to live is in a cave on a place called Skinwalker Ranch. Because that would be the safest place ever to camp out.
Yeah. So we're denying that, sir, correct? On record?
Absolutely denying it.
Now, I don't know if you had told me before, you said that you had some stuff to tell us about the ranch. Was there anything else that you wanted to say?
Yeah, there is some breaking news that is, you guys are the first really to hear about it or know about it. And like we said, Bigelow is an amazing guy. And recently, my mother actually lives in Vegas, and she's a little bit involved with politics there, and she went to a presentation where Bigelow was honoring veterans coming back from our Middle Eastern wars. And not only was he the largest donor at this event, but he's how can I put this? Okay.
Top secret.
Yeah. Here in Utah, I've gotten reports from people that don't want to be named that there's actually something along the lines of a extreme veteran rehabilitation program, or what they actually call deprogramming. And this deprogramming consists of taking these extreme veterans, which are kind of like what like the SEAL Team 6, like the guys that went and got Bin Laden.
Right.
And these super dark project individuals that are steeped with post-traumatic stress disorder and these other psychological problems brought on by their work. And what they've actually kind of started doing is taking these guys on more or less of a field trip there for a week or so, having them fill out the reports, do observation, and it's kind of become a paranormal Camp David, if you would. This isn't happening all the time, but they do have these retreats where they're deprogramming these intense agents. So
basically, the only way I can get onto the Skinwalker Ranch is to become a member of an elite SEAL team and go to war and come home.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Basically.
So, Ryan, what do you think's going on with that? Why is he sending stress-disordered soldiers into the Skinwalker Ranch, which clearly, if all this paranormal stuff's happening, that's not going to be good for the nerves? I mean, why is he sending these guys in? Is he building an army?
What I was told is these guys, obviously because of their disorders, they are, okay, first of all, you have the best of the best. So they're definitely in that echelon where they have all of the skills necessary to be involved in this sort of a predicament. So they know what to do. They're battle trained and tested, and really there's nobody better than them. So that box is checked. The next step is that because of their mind frame, they're more apt or susceptible for this paranormal enigma to try to mess with them. So you basically have a very well-trained, prepared, and badass bait. So the possibility of something paranormal actually happening is heightened by the fact that they're more susceptible to this because of their mental state.
Right.
And from a research perspective, it's just gravy. I mean, this is great. You know, they're perfect.
Now, see, when you told me he's bringing all these like battle-trained veterans back and giving them time at the ranch in a retreat style, my last thought was bait and more like he was building his own private army.
Yeah.
You know, because you bring these guys back, you put them in this they've been in this highly stressful situation, you bring them back to an area that's paranormal but unique, giving them something new to focus their energies on, and then treat them really well so they have a sense of loyalty to the person involved. You've got the makings of a private army there.
Absolutely.
Now, Ryan, you're going to have to correct me on this. There was talks about a huge battle between aliens and soldiers, where lots of soldiers lost their life. There was rumor that a couple aliens were killed in the process. Huge battle. Some people say it took place at Skinwalker. Other people say it took place in Brazil. I believe the name was the Battle Colossal or Colossus. Yep. Could you tell us about that real quick?
I can. It's kind of funny. Alien Dave Rosenfeld, was actually the first person to tell me about this, and he was onto it when it happened. He was aware of it, and I believe it was on Skinwalker Ranch. And the reason I believe that is they have changed their methods, and originally their methods were more rough. They were a little rough around the edges. If they saw something they couldn't explain, deal with, or they were intimidated or full of fear by, they would engage and they would attack. And this particular situation was one of these opening portals, or these orbs that begin and then just start to open up, and these entities were coming out of it. And these guys were close enough in proximity that they were horrified. And so, they made a decision, the flight or fight decision, and they decided to fight. And they began to basically light this area up with gunshots.
Wow.
And the defense mechanism used by whatever these entities were was deadly. And I know from the people I've talked to that one person, there was a fatality. And again, this is, I'm getting this secondhand, but at least one individual did in fact die. And there is a lot of rumor around this, because we're talking about, at that point it was mostly Navy SEALs that were decommissioned, and they were doing the security on the ranch at that point. And so we're talking about Navy SEALs that are more or less decommissioned, but working for a private organization of security in Las Vegas, so they have out-of-state licenses. And what I was told happened is this individual was actually flown back to Las Vegas and pronounced dead in Vegas. So there's absolutely no paper trail. Oh, wow.
Wow. Now, have you heard the reports as well about the dead aliens or the captured aliens during this battle?
I have, and I just don't know.
Right.
If I believed one way or another, I'd tell you guys, I just don't know.
All right, brother, because we love you. We gave you an extra 30 minutes. We could give you an extra 30 more hours on this, man. We'll definitely have to have you come back on. But I tell you, real quick, before we close out the show, what is the spookiest thing you've ever seen at Skinwalker?
Oh, my goodness. I would have to say it was about a 7-foot-tall, 100-pound entity with a headlamp on, literally crawling up the ridge and not acting human in any way, shape, or form. I think that would be up there, at least in the top 3.
Yeah.
that would be up there.
Oh my God! So you say not acting human? What, like a gorilla coming at you, or what?
Just too tall and too skinny to be, to resemble anything completely human.
You sure that Bigelow didn't have like a Mars walker that he was testing and came out after you there?
Right, like the
Could have been.
It's possible. I don't know. I mean,
a snappy pappy with a headlamp on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I tell you, Ryan, we're going to close out the show. We need you to stay on the line real quick if you can, brother. Would that be all right?
You bet.
And you've been so gracious that we're supporting the Susan G. Komen 3-day Race for the Cure, Shadow Nation, and Ryan has been gracious enough to give us a autographed copy of his book, Skinwalker and Beyond, and you can win it. We'll have the drawing this coming Friday. You can win that if that goes to the highest person who donates. Not the highest person. You don't have to be high, but the highest amount donated, guys, to the Susan G. Komen. You can go to our website, GhostMan&Demon.com, scroll down to the Susan G. Komen 3-day Race for the Cure, click on it, hit donate, and put in the comments that you are representing the Shadow Nation and the amount that, send us an email telling us how much you donated, and the winner will be announced on next Sunday's show. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's fabulous, Sean. I also want to shout out to all the people who do listen to us on podcasts. We've talked a lot about video and pictures tonight. If you do want to see that video and pictures, you can go to our website at www.ghostmanddemon.com. Scroll down to the bottom. You will see a link for YouTube. You can click on it there and find this episode on YouTube as well and watch the video and the pictures.
Well, Ryan, I got to tell you, brother, you're an amazing author, an amazing person, and you're an adventurer, and you're one of our favorites. You're definitely one of our favorites on here, and we love you to death, and we support everything you do. So stay on the line and stay safe, okay?
You bet. You got it. Thank you, guys.
All right, buddy. Stay on 1 second. Let's pay some bills, Demon Hunter.
We got to do that sometime.
We do. We do have to pay the bill. Unfortunately. Hey, guys, Planet Paranormal, Stitcher, Smart Radio, thanks for carrying us, guys. Special thanks to Creative Commons and freemusicarchives.com. Susan G. Komen, 3-day supporter. We are. You should be, too. Cancer's a very real, very deadly thing. Go to our website. Check it out. Donate today. Midnight Syndicate, thanks for the tunes. Hey, from the haunted back roads of America, this has been another exclusive G&D interview. Don't go changing America. You know we won't. Demon Hunter!
Because we love you.
Night,
even
guys.
On tax day.
Night, guys.